Hello dear friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel on LELB Society. I'm Dr. Hariri, and in this session I'm going to make an assessment on one of the essays written by one of the LELB Society's students. This essay is a sample of IELTS writing task 1, a graph analysis, and the title is body weight. Sorry. So let me just read out the title and the question and the instructions. This is the graph that should be analyzed. And on LELB Society you will have access to hundreds of, let's say, samples of both task 1 and task 2 for IELTS preparation. And let me show you the here it is for this session, and let me just read out the topic. It reads, the graphs here, there are two graphs and you should compare and contrast them and make a comparison. Below summarize the weight measurements of people living in Charlestown in 1955 and 2015. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay, weight assessment of inhabitants of Charlestown in 2015. So here is the graph guide. This color, brown, shows underweight people. Green shows ideal body weight. Yellow shows or indicates overweight people, and orange shows or indicates obese people. And this is the percentage column, and also there are 1, 2, 3, 5 age groups or age brackets or age range, age range from 20 years to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 to 69. Actually 5 decades of lives. And the second photo, the one right below that, weight assessment of inhabitants of Charlestown in 1959, so 55. So the first one actually is more recent, and the second one is older. It refers to some years ago, around half of a century ago. So we need to compare and contrast. Actually, the colors are the same, and also the writer or reporter, because IELTS task 1, IELTS writing task 1 is more or less like a report. And so let me just focus on the way this essayist or reporter actually has elaborated on this graph. So okay, so the graphs cast light on means show, means clarify the percentages of people categorized into. We have categorized according to or categorized as. We don't have categorized into. 4 4 groups according to their hold on, let me just make some. Okay, 4 groups according to their weights in Charlestown in 1995. So it is a mistake. The year goes back to 1955 and 2015. So the first paragraph of IELTS writing task 1 shows, actually is a brief summary, is a summary of the graph, or what the graph or visual information just depicts or tries to show. And this is a good way to just show the reader, or because actually your addressee, the person who is supposed to read your report, as a university lecturer. So in this task you should just go into the details and elaborate on the visual information. Paragraph 2, overall. Overall means in general rather than in particular, or including all the people or things in a particular group or situation. Overall, what stands out, it means is noticeable from the graphs, is that in 2015 more people were coping with or dealing with obesity compared to 1995. Another mistake, because actually the the date refers to, as I said, around half of a century ago, not, for example, 20 years ago. Okay. The third paragraph, paying attention to the year 1995, people who were ideal in terms of weight, that should be written in this way, that people whose body weights were ideal, because a person is not ideal in terms of something is ideal actually about a person. Constituted more than 50% of the population. Okay, to be more elaborate means to be more precise, to be more accurate. In the 2029 age bracket. What is age bracket? Age bracket, age group, age range. Almost 70% of people were ideal. Again, the same problem. Had ideal body weights. But it decreased approximately to 50% in the 60 to 69 age group, or age bracket, age range. Moreover, in addition, furthermore, only were the minority people obese. Pay attention, when we use only at the very beginning of the sentence, there must be an inverted form of the sentence. I mean, the sentence gets inverted, and it is no more statement. I mean, it is a statement, but the form actually is interrogative or question form. Were the minority of people obese, most of whom were living in the 6th decade of their lives. Furthermore, again, furthermore means in addition. Okay. Furthermore, underweight dwellers or citizens of Charlestown made up 30% of people in the 20 to 29 age bracket, and it fell slightly among middle-aged people. Again, it must be middle-aged with a hyphen or dash people, and rose gradually when it came to the oldest people, also making up almost 20% of people in the 30 to 49 age group. Overweight people were not. It's better to put it in this way, that the proportion of overweight people, not overweight people by themselves, tangible, just because of tangible, among other groups of people. Another mistake that this essayist or IELTS writing task 1 reporter has made is that he has used too many words, because this essay, IELTS writing task 1 should contain around at least 150 words, but around, for example, 160 50 or 60 or maximum 70, because actually you should not your writing should not be too long. But here the number of words that has been used is over 280, which is really let's say too many, I mean, in terms of words. Turning to the year 2015, the older people were, the more obese they became. Actually, this is grammatically wrong. I mean, this structure is grammatically wrong, and it becomes ambiguous, or I mean, we don't have such a grammar structure. And in fact means actually. In fact, let me see if I can put it in this way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In fact, used when you are adding something, especially something surprising, to emphasize what you have just said. Actually, 60% of people, yeah, this is better. Okay. 60% of people aged 60 to 69 years were obese, as opposed to the 20 to 29 age bracket, in which the rate of obesity was next to zero. That is true. What's more? What's more means furthermore, in addition. Almost 70% of the youngest group were ideal, again had ideal body weights. However means nevertheless, it declined to 5% among the oldest group. Interestingly, underweight people were mostly included in the two latter groups, making up less than 20% of people in their own groups. And I've responded to this part in this way, that this is not correct, because underweight gradually in the same year, it says mostly. Here we have mostly, but as a matter of fact, the proportion of underweight people in 1959 was just 5 or 10%, so which is not actually a very noticeable percentage. So it's not mostly is not a good adverb here, making up 20%, up to 20%. And also it's not accurate, because actually the photo that I showed to you at the very start of this presentation showed that it just that was included up to 5 or 10%, not 20%. So last but not least, it is used when you want to add something that is really important, but at the end, you don't bring it at the start of something, or presentation, or word, or a letter or essay. Overweight people had considerable numbers in the 30 to 49 and 60 to 69 age groups. Here no comma should be used, and also age groups here, age groups, and about comma, no comma is required. Accounting for, again after that, no comma is required. Roughly, no comma is required. 20% of people in their own groups. It's rather confusing and difficult for me to just make an assessment here in this presentation, because the photo is above and on top of this post. So in order to, let me just show you something else, in reference to my analysis. Yeah, examiner's notes, visual data. You could I just added some further lines in order to complete the analysis somehow better. At first glance, it becomes clear that unlike the year of 2015, in 1955 a high percentage of people across the 5 age brackets. To be more precise, approximately 70% had ideal body weights. Surprisingly, in this year, none of the people in the third and fourth decades of their lives were obese. Conversely, the rate of obesity followed a growing trend across the age brackets consecutively in 2015. Choice of words or dictions: diction great, coherence excellent, cohesion above average, grammar good, reasoning good. However, you could write better. You could write between the lines and come to some further conclusions. And the word count 282. You have used too many words in your report. It should contain around 150 words. And here are some further, let's say, general guidelines, information about how to develop an IELTS writing task. 1. Planning your task. You can read about these parts on LELB Society, how to start writing, how to analyze the graph, providing an overview, important tips, recognizing similarities and differences, verbs to describe the data, ascend with an ascending and descending destination or focus, intensifiers to describe the data. And there is a table here, and in this table you can just read about the let me see, another dominant structure that some phrases, some structures, collocations that are typically used in this task, IELTS writing task 1. And here are my corrections. For example, if you just click on them, you will be directed to that indexed, and yeah, that's it. All right, I hope you like this educational video in response to one of the essays on task 1 of the IELTS exam. And this is the original essay written by Sasan, and on LELB Society you can also reply to the essay and even leave your questions here. You can leave your questions. And also we have a free English class for everybody. So if you're an IELTS candidate or even TOEFL candidate and you want to perfect your knowledge, I guarantee that this group class, which is free for all, can help you a lot. Thank you very much for your attention, and bye-bye.